where to sell my software as a service. Let's see.
I think that is definitely something that's sellable, and I think it would be a great business. You just
The idea of the communication, I think it's great.
And bring the truckers on board, not just the
Bring
cars.
The truckers on board. All right. What's up, buddy?
Not much.
How you doing?
I'm good.
How was your week?
Interesting.
Yeah? What happened?
Had a guy call me yesterday, started his business, I want to say a couple of years ago, is in the water purification world.
Okay.
Right? So like whole house purification, all that stuff. And wanted me to take a look at his AdWords campaign because he didn't think it was working. And I look at it and I go, this is set up all wrong. From beginning to end, this is set up horribly.
Did he do
wrong.
it himself?
He paid a company 2 times what his actual budget was for AdWords for 90 days to get this set up. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, wait a minute. So you spent almost $4,000 with the company, but $2,100 on the actual campaign.
Wow.
And he's like, yeah, he's like, I used them before, they go back further. So I looked at the lifetime of his account. He had spent $11,000 since he opened the account with 57 conversions. So if you do the math.
Oh my God.
Now keep in mind, so there were more conversions, right? This is where a lot of this stuff gets deceptive, is there were a ton more conversions. But when I started digging into the conversions, it was things like asking for directions to his business. He works out of his house. He doesn't have a shop.
Right.
Right? So 2/3 of all the conversions that were logged were useless. Even like a click to his website from his Google business profile was counted as a conversion.
You know, but people don't know.
They don't know. I know. And like my rule is always don't spend more on setting something up than what you're actually going to be spending on the thing.
Right.
Right? And same thing, don't follow all the Google recommendations. Don't follow all the Facebook recommendations when you're setting up these ad campaigns.
Oh, yeah. No, they're not.
But a lot of them do. Like this
Well, they don't know any better.
Correct. Now they do. They just heard me say it. Don't do it. Right? But yeah, we logged into another campaign the other day. It had 43, just shy of 4,400 keywords. And Google has this thing called auto apply recommendations.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I know it.
So you're supposed to turn them on. Like if your goal is to get more conversions, you turn on optimize for conversions and optimize for, target CPA, whatever it is that you're doing. They had every single automation turned on. Optimize for clicks,
everything.
Optimize for bidding, auto add new keywords. I'm like,
you're just wasting money at that point.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right? And this is why I always come back to with startups is people think marketing is easy, and it is. At the end of the day, marketing is not complicated. But there are certain things that you really have to be aware of in order to optimize whatever your marketing is, regardless of what business you start, what business you're in.
Right. Otherwise, you're wasting money half the time, especially when you're using third-party applications. You have to know how to use them properly. Otherwise, you're literally just throwing money down the drain.
You know who the Wrigley guy is, right? That invented Wrigley chewing gum? Mm-hmm. So he has a famous saying that says, I know I'm wasting 50% of my marketing budget. I just don't know which 50% it is.
Which 50% of this? Sorry, right? I've read that before.
Now, those numbers have changed today. Like, we can track a lot more than back what we could do then. But, yeah, I mean, you're probably always going to waste probably somewhere between 30 and 40% of your budget.
That's okay because, honestly...
But I don't call it... It's not wasting.
It's not wasting. You're learning.
It's
right.
Not only that. Like, it can... When you do brand advertising, right? Like, let's say you put a sign out in front of your building. Can you literally track how many people walked in because of the sign?
No.
Is it wasted advertising?
No.
Right. But there are certain things that are very hard to track on the brand marketing side of things, which is where a lot of small businesses and startups go wrong, right? Like the dumb stuff, like showing up at the car show and having a tent or a flyer or something at the car show, right? Showing up at the community events, having something there. just being out and about in the community, branded, wrapping their trucks. A lot of these basic things, people don't understand the impact that it is having. So a lot of times they look at it and go, well, why would I waste my money on that? Why would I waste my money on a lawn sign? Because they work.
They
right?
work. Oh, they absolutely work. Ask any contractor. They work wonderfully.
Correct. Right. And the only way you can really track it is if the neighbor happens to call. Right.
Right.
But I mean.
But that you're talking traditional. But what about, in physical? What about digital? In digital, that money is used for even more for better purposes, because you can track most things, not everything. So you can track when someone sees your brand and comes back to it 6 weeks later. I get that.
So you can to a certain extent, right? So the native tracking platform, the native tracking inside a lot of these apps is not as accurate as people think.
Sure.
So there's third-party tracking that you can add. So they tie all of this stuff together. So you can see if someone first found you organically on Google, then happened to see your ad on Facebook, and then Googled you and clicked on a paid result, and that led to the purchase, right?
Right. The funnel, right.
The argument is always, which one of those three led to the purchase? Was it the discovery when they first happened to find you? Was it when you reminded them on Facebook? Or was it when you showed up when they actually Googled what they were looking for?
Actually, you needed all three of those to do it.
Correct. And it was funny because a few years ago, we had a client that does countertops. And we weren't doing the digital part of their marketing. We were handling like the flyers and their banners and all that stuff. And they always included us when they met with their digital agency because they knew we did it too, and they just wanted us to be informed, right? So I always remember there was a month where the digital ad agency was all excited. They're like, oh, we made some changes, and like we're seeing drastically better results for all your stuff. And I'm sitting there and I go, that didn't happen to start on September 7th, did it? And they're like, how did you know? Because that's the day the billboard went up.
Yeah.
Right? But they weren't attributing that people actually were searching for certain things and now coming to them because of a billboard rather than something magic happened with a digital campaign. Right? And those are the things that are so hard to track. And yeah. Anyways, just some basic marketing education for anybody thinking about starting a business.
No, absolutely. Well, let me look at it from the other side. So, not marketing, but the legal side.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had this client. This guy's great. I really like him quite a bit, but he absolutely refuses to listen to me when it comes to his contracts. Okay, he's a home improvement contractor, and I know you sat through that presentation I gave months ago on that. And I keep telling him in Pennsylvania, there are very specific rules on what you have to have in your contract when you're a home improvement contractor. Otherwise, the contract's completely invalid and unenforceable. And it's now the third time he's come to me in the last few months. We had this deal, handshake contract, or maybe, something small written on paper, and now the person's not paying me. What do I do? I've told you what to do. We have to fix your contract. But he just won't listen. It's kind of the same thing with the marketing people. It's like they've been told so many times and for so many years that this is the way you do it. Oh, everything's working wonderfully. Until this guy steps in front of a judge, because from years ago he has some court cases where he won, but that was years before they had this new act. Until he steps in front of a judge and the judge tells him, sir, you don't have a contract because of X, Y, and Z. He's not going to listen to me. He's just not. I'm trying my best.
Right.
It's going to kind of the same thing with the marketing. It's until someone like you gets in front of somebody and says, here's why that company that you've been working with for the last 2 years and have spent $15,000 with is, I don't want to use the word ripping you off, but not doing what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Where your money could be better spent.
Correct.
Here's where all the mistakes are.
And I never tell anybody that XYZ company has been ripping them off.
Right.
Because I sincerely believe that people try to do their best according to their ability and understanding, right? It doesn't mean that what this guy is doing is within their ability and understanding of how to set something up, right? It's the same thing because I come from working with like big brands, right? They don't do things the exact same way that you have to do it as a local startup business. Right? It's because it's a completely different, you need to have a different understanding of your audience. You need to have a different understanding of what works for you. And you don't have the type of budget these companies do. So they can throw $10 million at a test project to see how it works. You can't do that, right? Like, you have to go find the guy that is really good at what you do, right? At marketing specifically your product or service or your local. Like, don't go with, like, what can I just say? So, do you know who Omnicom is?
Sure, of course.
Oh, okay. Would you, as a small local business, hire Omnicom to handle your media purchases?
No. Way too expensive,
right?
For me.
Way too expensive.
And overkill for what I need.
And they are absolutely used to dealing, like, they wouldn't negotiate 30-second spots on your local channels. Like, it's the wrong vendor for the right task, right? On the other hand, I think there's a company, I forget, Screenwave Media, I forget what they're called, that specialize in helping small businesses buy localized media spot through, like, Spot Runner and a lot of these other things.
Sure, yeah.
Much better choice, right? Much cheaper ads, and they have a much better understanding of that specific market. So, like, I've had people come to me wanting me to do marketing for certain things, and I tell them, listen, I know a guy that does just this, right? Like, you're probably going to be better off with him while you're starting out, because right now your every dollar and every penny matters more than it will 2 years from now or 5 years from now, right? I tell people all the time, your first $1 million in gross revenue is going to be the most expensive $1 million.
Right.
Any $1 million after that is going to cost you proportionally less, right? But until you hit about that, 7-figure mark, you're going to have to utilize very specific type of people that have an expertise in a very narrow field.
Right.
People that come to us are kind of that way, but I also have a handful of clients that are now past that. And the only reason I can say we can comfortably do both is because of my background working with larger entities and understanding the shift in marketing that has to happen, right? You go from bottom of funnel marketing, basically all your marketing dollars are spent on people that are ready to buy now, to building a fan base or a dedicated audience, as you would call it, that will do business with you in the future. Long term, that second option is way cheaper. But when you're starting out, you are in far more need of those immediate sales.
Right.
So for most businesses, I'm not going to say for everyone, that 7-figure mark or close to it is where that shift should be starting to take place.
You start transitioning out of the immediacy and
Correct.
more toward the long-term strategy.
Correct.
Right.
And I was explaining this to a guy that just started working for me yesterday, is when we have a client that's booked out 3 or 6 months, utilizing bottom of funnel marketing, we don't kill his marketing. We simply start transitioning portions of that budget to what becomes ultimately cheaper lead generation cost or cheaper cost of acquiring a customer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because ultimately we can funnel all the money out of the bottom of funnel, which is super expensive. Now we've funneled it into the long-term building because we have that buffer. But now we see far more drastic growth because we're generating more business for the same dollars.
Sure.
So it's interesting when that shift sort of happens.
And that's a good strategy to have because, again, you need to cover a variety of things. Like you said, like these larger entities, they're not looking for an ad show up, I need someone to buy now. They're looking for that long-term brand recognition,
Correct.
the eyeballs recognizing that brand, and then when they're out in the stores, they'll see that brand again, and now they'll buy. They don't even need to track that this banner is the reason why I bought that laundry detergent or something like that.
I always ask people this question, right? To kind of help them understand and put things in perspective. When does McDonald's run their breakfast ads?
Not in the morning.
Nope. Right? They run them late night,
Right.
the evening before.
Because you're going to go out the next day, right?
Right? And that's kind of the mindset that is past bottom of funnel. That is now suggestive marketing, right? That is now getting people anticipating that they're going to do this tomorrow by tempting them today.
Right.
And that is a brilliant strategy when you have the money to do so, right? But if you think of someone like, let's say you wanted to start a pool business, right? Not that I would advise anybody to get into the pool business. When you first start, you need people that are literally looking to have a pool put in this year.
Right.
What you can then do, if you're booked out all of next year, let's say you're booked out into September, you can now start generating, so I call them better leads, because when you're generating leads using suggestive selling, you can sell them on bigger, better ideas, right? So the guy that wanted the 10 by 20 pool, if he sees your ad for the 18 by 40 pool with the waterfall and
all the extras, right? And everything, sure.
That person might go from wanting the 10 by 20 pool to not necessarily wanting that pool, but understanding that maybe I want it to be a little bit more, and I'm willing to pay a little bit extra to get these types of features, right?
Yeah, because usually once somebody has a number in mind, let's say a pool's 50 grand, for example, and they have that number in mind and they're willing to spend 50 on the 10 by 20, now spending an extra 10 or 15 on the 10 by 25 with some of the extra amenities and such isn't, okay, it's only an extra 15. Now they're not thinking about spending 65. They're thinking about spending 15 because they've already, in their heads, already decided they're going to spend the 50.
Correct. I mean, it's the same thing when you go into a dealership. Did they ever put you into the base model first?
No, of course not.
Right? Not unless you specifically ask for it.
No, right to the turbo with the with all the leather seats and everything.
And all the tech and all that stuff
exactly.
in it, right? And I jokingly said the one year, because a client of mine was in used car sales, and her loaner car was always this like piece of junk. And I asked her the one time, I'm like, you can loan any car on the lot. Why don't you loan people the next level up car from what they have, right? So if I pull up in a base, I don't know, call it Ford Explorer, and you happen to have the next level car up, let's call it, you have a Cadillac SUV sitting on the lot. Well, why don't you give them that as a loaner car, right? Because now when you don't want them to come back and be grateful to get back in their own car, the idea for you should be they should come back, get back in their own car and go, man, I like that other car better, right?
Yeah.
Now you get the repair bill and you have the potential of closing a deal because people are now like, well, the other car was kind of nicer, right?
Exactly, yeah. And when they're thinking about buying the next car, which will come eventually.
Correct.
And even if it's 3 out of 10 people that actually come back and buy from you, great.
Even if it's 1 out of every 10, right? It's still, you created that sale by simply adjusting what loaner car they get.
Exactly.
Nothing else. It cost you no extra. You did nothing really different. You just thought, maybe I want them to regret getting back in their car instead of looking forward to it.
Right.
It's all that little stuff. Anyway, we're way off
all right,
topic.
that's okay. No, we're not. No, we're talking business here.
Yeah,
we're not
I
on
know.
topic whatsoever. Before we keep going, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already.
Oh, and the like button. The like button's our friend.
The like button is our friend. Yes, we do like the like button. So please hit that too.
And thanks for the support. Let's keep it moving.
All right, so let's see what we have. We have here Raj Gupta asks, where to sell my software as a service? Let's see. I create many software as a service applications, but I don't have enough marketing budget, so I converted most of them into Windows applications and published on Code Canyon. Code Canyon store generated about $240 last month, and this month the trajectory is the same. I want to sell the marketplace at the marketplace store with code and everything. What should be the ideal price of this business, or really this product, and where should I sell it? Anyone here interested in purchasing, DM me and we'll schedule a meeting. All right, great. So it doesn't say what the product is. It doesn't matter. But so you have a software as a service platform that you built. Okay. Mm-hmm. And obviously you want to get it out there. You want to get people to start using it. Well, it depends. Is it business software? Is it personal software? Is it, what is it? Right. So let's assume it's not social media, but let's assume it's some type of, let's say it's workout software. Workout software is a service platform.
Yep.
All right. How do you start marketing that to the general public to start getting sales?
Believe it or not, most SaaS companies don't start seeing exponential growth until they implement affiliate programs.
Oh, is that right?
Affiliate
Where?
On their own. So there are affiliate marketplaces out there, but
You're saying they do their own affiliate marketing.
They do their own affiliate, right? So
start
if you
working
think,
with personal trainers or something like in this case.
it doesn't look at MailChimp, look at Go High Level, look at HubSpot, right? Most of those didn't start getting like any type of real traction until they implemented affiliate programs.
Okay, so how do you do that? How would you go about implementing
So
that?
now you stop trying to think about selling your product. Now you start thinking about who would be power users that could also be affiliates, right?
Okay.
So High Level, for example, they're a CRM system. And what I think is brilliant for them is they're a SaaS company. Rather than saying, hey, we're going to try to sell to everyone, they went, who is the most likely implementer of a CRM system, right? And most people think, oh, it's the end user. That's not true, right? The marketers are the one that generally want CRM system implemented.
Sure.
If I get a client and that client doesn't have a CRM system, the first thing I ask them is, do we have a CRM system so that we can track people and follow up with them? And because that's where a lot of the marketing magic happens. So High Level actually created a tiered subscription.
Oh, okay.
So me as a mid-level, right? So there's end user level, which is like $90 a month. There's a mid-user level, which can create sub-accounts. That's like, I don't know, $200 and whatever dollars. And then there's what I would call like a super user, where you can now mark everything up within the system. So you can mark up the cost of the email marketing. You can mark up minutes used by these, what's that?
Gotcha.
But at that mid-tier level, which is like, call it $300 a month, I can set up unlimited clients. So I could take all of my clients as a marketing company that don't have a CRM system and give them a free basic CRM system where I can see every lead that comes in. I can set up to send them automated emails. I can send appointment booking all through the CRM system, because at the end of the day, me as a marketing company, if I generate leads, but the company we're doing it for, their follow-up sucks, and they aren't converting the leads, ultimately they're going to blame me, right? They're never going to look at themselves and go, well,
No, of course not.
maybe I need to fix
That's why
my
they're
follow-up
paying you.
process. Correct, right? So High Level went from being, I'm not going to say unknown, but like they exploded the moment they started going after the marketing companies. And then what happened was there were individuals that figured out that there were niche markets with CRM implementations that then also started signing up as these super affiliates, and then would go out and sell the CRM solution. And then what they weren't really selling the CRM solution as much as they were selling the final configuration of it.
Sure.
Right? So it was a brilliant strategy. And we had the conversation last episode about Yeti, right?
Right.
Find your community. This is exactly that, right?
So explain to somebody who isn't familiar with affiliate marketing what it is and how to get involved with that with your product.
So theoretically, affiliate marketing is no different than commission sales, right? And there are multiple ways to structure that. You can make it someone sells something and they get a flat rate, right? Generally, that is if you're selling a product. I mean, even the big guys, Amazon runs affiliate programs.
Oh, you can do it with services too. It's a subscription-based service.
Correct.
And
you can do it with anything, right? It's because it's just commission sales.
Right.
So whether it's a one-time payment or whether it's a payment as long as the subscriber stays with them, most major affiliate marketers always look to market products that generate reoccurring revenue rather than making a single-time sale. But essentially, all it is tracking software, right? That's installed. I give you a code. Your code could be 123, Now
Yep.
you send someone, to my website using your code. If they purchase, you get 40% of whatever they purchased or whatever the number is.
So how do you find affiliates?
So there are a lot of forums out there. There are a lot of affiliate, like almost marketplaces.
Reddit? Does Reddit have them?
Reddit probably has a bunch of them.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a massive.
Since we're on Reddit.
There was a massive affiliate manager called ClickBank. I think they still exist, right? So there's all these different venues where you can start recruiting affiliates. And you have to remember, you can run more than one affiliate software at a time.
Oh, sure.
So you could be running ClickBank on one side and then running your own private affiliate system on the site. If you start by recruiting out of ClickBank, eventually the bigger affiliates will start seeing those earnings. And 9 times out of 10, they'll go to your site to see, do they have a direct affiliate program so I don't have to lose the commission part to ClickBank, right? Because they get a percentage.
Right.
So yeah, it's just like building any other business. But if you recruit 1,000 affiliates, that is going to turn to more money than recruiting 1,000 customers.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
Because it's a multiplication effect,
because
right?
that person's not just a one and done. They're constantly out there trying to get you more
And
people.
if you pay good commissions, they're very likely to promote whatever it is that you have.
Okay, so that's an interesting question. So it's hard to say what a commission should be, but what are you looking at? Like 10, 15% of a sale? Is that a typical commission? 20%, 30%?
I won't do anything under 40%.
40%. So 40% of the sale. So if your software as a service platform has a, say, $29.99 a month subscription rate, or that's what you want to collect is $29.99 a month, you have to sell it for $49.99 a month then and pay 40% of that in commission.
That is correct.
To the affiliate.
Yeah.
And that's worth it.
Absolutely. Right? Think of it, if you could recruit 100 salespeople right now,
right,
and all you had to do was pay them 30 or 40%, right? Call it 40%. If there is no labor on the other side, right? This is why this works so well for SaaS companies, because normally there's no labor.
Right.
So scale doesn't directly affect cost, right? Not the most expensive like labor. It affects computer costs and stuff like that. But that's why those models are so fantastic for SaaS companies. It's a great marketing strategy.
It is. It is a good marketing strategy.
And a lot of influencers are actually affiliate marketers.
Oh, sure. Oh, I've seen that.
But that's 100% why it works.
Okay.
I know there are, so digital products, for example, a lot of people will sell multiple digital products. So the producer of the product will often run what they call a loss leader, where they might have a $49.99 program or a $79 program. But out of that program, they pay up to 70 or 80% affiliate commissions on it.
Wow.
No, it's brilliant. So what happens is they get them to come in and they recruit affiliates to sell that program. Then on the back end, they have a bunch of additional programs that they sell that only have 10% affiliate commissions.
Okay.
So they use one, their most popular one.
It's a loss leader.
It's a loss leader. They use that one to get the affiliates to drive people to them, and then they have a ton of upsells on the back end with way lower affiliate commissions.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, but it makes everybody happy, right?
Oh, sure.
Like the affiliate gets paid a boatload, right? The company makes money on the back end, and the affiliate gets a part of that as well. It's a win-win all around.
Now, do you recommend for someone getting into affiliate marketing, not the affiliate, but the software provider or whoever, to do lifetime on the affiliate?
It all depends. It depends on what you're running, what the costs are. Like that's a business decision, not a marketing decision.
Right.
So like right now, I'm negotiating something for a bookkeeping company. And they have the potential of partnering with an influencer that has like 800,000 YouTube subscribers. And that discussion is now taking place is, does the influencer want a small percentage for the lifetime of the customer? Do they want 6 payments of a different amount? Do they want that they get 100% of the first month of revenue? This is where it becomes a business decision, right? So you as the business kind of have to figure out, depending on who your affiliate is. And you don't have to have one affiliate program for everybody. You can have a base affiliate program, and then you can have super affiliates, and then you can have exclusive affiliates where you pay different things.
Right.
So you could, for example, allow people to move up through the scale, right? So on your first 50 sales, you get 20%. On your next 50 sales, you get 20%. Once you've hit a certain number of sales, you stay at a flat 30 or 40%, right? But it's an introduction to kind of allow people to get to know each other, just like if you would hire a salesperson.
Yeah.
But so it's a with once you get to the super affiliates, it becomes more of a negotiation than just setting up a standard affiliate program.
Now, practically speaking, from the legal side of things, when you do that, when you do get the affiliates, you have to recognize, number one, they're 1099 contractors working for you, which means you have to issue them 1099s at the end of the year. You also need to be careful about ones, so we're in the United States, obviously, ones that are outside of the United States and how you would issue them tax forms because they're not paying taxes to the U.S.
Correct.
So there's definitely certain rules, stuff you have to follow with that as well. So, so once you get your affiliate marketing campaign up and running, you got to be very careful with who you choose as an affiliate as well.
Yes.
So it's not just a matter of, hey, let me just go grab everybody that's willing to promote.
Correct.
You want to be careful with who these affiliates are. Do they have a track record of success? Do they have an instilled customer or a following, I would say? More importantly, have they done stuff in the past and that has caused problems or some type of adversity?
Yeah. And yes. So generally, you don't get that much information about the affiliates when they sign up, believe it or not. You get their name,
well, you can
address.
if you research them.
Correct. But there's only so much information you can request during the sign-up process before you research them. I just want to point out another benefit that people don't realize is that every affiliate link normally has your website name in it and a code, which means when you recruit affiliates, you're building backlinks back to your website.
That's true. It's true.
Right? That's an extra hidden benefit.
That helps your organic SEO.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is why you see a lot of SaaS companies that run affiliate programs is because, yes, there's administrative sides of it, but basically it eliminates almost all your need for other marketing because you recruit a sales force.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck to Raj Gupta. I hope that helps out. That's a great idea. Where to start selling your SaaS? Start getting some affiliates.
Yeah.
All right. The World of Tommy says, I want to sell my clotted cream. I can't wait to read this. All right. Hey, I want to make and sell my own clotted cream, and I enjoy it so much that I have been trying to make the perfect batch. I'm the country I'm in, they don't sell it anywhere. Hence, I would love to sell my own clotted cream one day and have it nationwide. However, I have no idea how some companies, especially in the UK, make them in those little pots, and they look perfect. When making it, it needs to bake for about 12 hours, and I have been making it over an oven dish. But I know eventually I will need to store them in a pot with my own branding, etc. I just want to think ahead once I nail my clotted cream recipe to perfection. How on earth do they do it? Hey, Gummi.
Yeah.
What's clotted cream? You're from that part of the world.
I am, but I actually don't know exactly what it is.
If only there were a way we could find out.
I know.
What is clotted cream?
I want to say that it's
okay, hold on.
It's almost like a cheese.
Is it food or is it like makeup?
No, it's a food.
It's a food. Okay.
So it's like
clotted cream is a thick, rich cream that originated in the southwest of England. It's made by heating full-fat cow's milk, allowing the cream to rise to the top, and then skimming it off. The name comes from the cream's tendency to form clots while cooling. Okay.
It's like a hybrid between cream and it's a hybrid between like butter and cheese, I think.
Isn't that what creme fraiche is? Or is creme fraiche something different?
No, that's something different.
Okay.
But yeah, so like I knew it was a food.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure how they made it, but.
So you know what it is now?
Yes.
All right. So, I mean, number one, the pot, I don't understand the problem with the pots thing.
No, that's just scale.
Yeah.
That's industrial equipment versus home equipment.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like that's something that would be relatively simple to solve.
It's like saying, how can the baker make 1,000 breads a day and I
Right.
can only make 12?
Right.
Well,
Yeah. That's because you use
the
your easy
scale of
bake
the
oven at home.
operation,
It doesn't
right?
work
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. The industrial ovens heat and cool in a matter of seconds. And,
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you sell something like that? So now we have a food product. Let's forget about because I don't know the legalities in the UK, so I don't want to talk about those. But
Okay.
let's just say we have a food product that we want to sell, right?
Yes.
How do we sell that?
So I go back to my band theory, right? Right now you're in a cottage industry.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. You first of all, because it's a food item, you need to make sure that you follow all the rules for what is needed in your country. And believe it or not, do you know who Jeremy Clarkson is?
Oh yeah. No.
Did you ever see Jeremy Clarkson's farm?
No.
So he did a show, Jeremy Clarkson's farm. He's owned a farm in England
out.
for like years and years and
Wow.
years. And the guy that was running his farm decided to retire. So Jeremy decided to become a farmer.
Oh man.
And he set up a little farm store and he came up with all these ideas for producing and making stuff. And he actually, I want to say it's in the last season, is dealing with exactly this type of stuff.
Oh, wow.
What do you need to be able to manufacture certain things and what licenses do you need and who do you need to send it to and all that stuff. So since this guy's in the UK, just thought that would be interesting to throw that in there.
Yeah, it is interesting.
But basically, you start small, you scale it up. So if you have the ability to produce enough for one grocery store, go get all the permits, go get all the licenses, figure out how you can package it, bottle it, does it need to be refrigerated, all of that stuff. And start in one store or two stores or three stores. Then move to a small chain, right? And I always say, sell it before you make it, right? So if
Have sales lined up for
correct,
what's
like
prepared.
if before you go out and buy the industrial equipment,
Right.
make sure you have a small grocery chain that's willing to take your stuff.
Especially something like this, because I'd imagine the shelf life of it can't be very long.
It's a dairy product, so
Yeah.
it can't be that long. But yeah, so
you're suggesting then to sell direct to distributors or stores as
Yes.
opposed to go into individuals.
yes, there's no scale in selling
There's no
directly
scale.
to
Yeah,
individuals.
there really isn't. You're right.
And I know this because I'm working with an ice cream company right now that only used to sell to scoop shops,
Oh, really?
right? So all of their ice cream was produced in 3.5 gallon buckets.
Mm-hmm.
They then got into the retail space and then they got carried away and they started trying to do too many flavors with too many things.
Oh.
And their core flavors were no longer available. So their ice cream wasn't selling proportionately enough at stores. So the stores kicked them out.
Can't
right?
all be Ben Jerry's. Can't have 75
Cor-
different flavors or whatever
Correct.
the number is.
Yes.
Stick with chocolate, vanilla,
Yeah.
strawberry. That's the
You
usual.
need your core 5 flavors and
Right.
that's it, right?
Yeah.
If you're just building out. So with this, start by getting it into, ideally where you want to start are specialty stores.
Sure. Here we have
Right.
Whole Foods and
So,
such,
like,
Wegmans.
the-
That's
no,
right.
no, even
even
smaller.
more smaller than boutiques.
like a deli, right?
Oh, I see.
that
Yeah,
might be
because you go in there, you'll see like they sell brownies and stuff like that,
correct.
cookies
Like,
from people from
when
locals.
when you go to the bakery or the butcher, they always have these like little things
Yeah.
that you can buy. That's where I would start with something like this. This sounds like it would go with bread.
Oh, let's see. Again, I need to see what this looks like. So we saw
Once
what it
again,
looks like.
breads and
Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it's looks
Right,
like it's
yeah.
almost like a butter or
Yeah.
cream you would
So
put on top of
it's-
bread and jelly.
so the first place I
It
would
looks
go.
pretty good.
I know. The first place I would try to sell in are like small bakeries that would be interested in carrying local clotted cream, right? If you can get 5 or 6 bakeries under your belt, it's a natural fit with bread,
Yeah.
right? So your natural place in the grocery store would be close to the bread, but because they're a grocery store, they're going to put you with the cheeses and the butters,
Of course.
right? If you're at the bakery, you are literally
Next
with
to
the
the bread
bread
at all times.
right?
All times.
Yes. So this is a different strategy, and you don't need to, on the marketing side of things, you don't need to worry about it yet. You just need to basically do proof of concept that your product will sell at these lower level stores, and then move your way up. And your production can scale accordingly.
And to touch on what you were saying earlier about the legalities, so forth. You have to absolutely make sure you're following whatever rules are required for kitchen equipment and food processing and preparation and packaging. Yes. There's a lot of rules that are involved, although not as many as you think.
No, and
there's at least here anyway. There's rules. You have to have good sanitary conditions. But you don't have to spend millions of dollars for a factory.
You have to prove shelf life. You need nutritional information, right?
Yep.
A lot of the rules come down to, like, the rules for the food itself is pretty simple, but it's the conditions in which the food is produced. So I don't know where he is in the UK or if the UK even has it, but like there are kitchens here in the US that are already pre-certified.
Correct. You make your food there.
You can go make your food there, package it, and now it's sellable because it was produced in a kitchen that was basically up
already
to standards.
Licensed.
Correct.
Yeah.
Actually, a friend of mine runs a cookie business out of her basement.
Oh, really?
Her basement is certified. They converted it to like a little bakery.
I can see that. I could totally see that.
And it's funny because she has like pets, animals, but because she has double doors, it's some weird thing. So like it's almost like you walk into a closet and then from the closet you go into the basement, right? But I asked her, why do you have that? And she's like, we needed this for the certification or something like silly.
Years ago, I used to do work for Kosh's Bakery down in Philadelphia, and they were the nicest people. And I was amazed. It's just the end of the South Philly's all the row houses, right? It was the end one of a row house, and obviously they did all the baking and everything on premises. And the upstairs, if I remember correctly, it was like one of the what used to be a bedroom upstairs. It was just filled with flour, and they would just like pull the string, the flour would come down from up there, and that's what. And obviously, it's very clean, and I mean the bread was just fantastic. It still is. And it was just so cool that they converted a bedroom or whatever it was into nothing but just a silo of flour, and they would just pull the chain, and the flour would come down. It was the greatest thing to see. It was so cool.
That's being ingenious.
Oh, totally.
And using
the space that you have. All right. Well, best of luck to your World of Tommy. You do start making those. We'll have our address on the website, and you can send some over to us.
One, yeah.
We'd love to try it. It looks really good. Actually.
I know. Now I need to go see if I can get it.
Have you seen before you go on? Have you seen the videos of the kids in the UK that are being given American food for the first time?
No.
Oh, they're so funny and they're phenomenal. So these kids
are they horrified?
No. Oh my God, they're complete opposite. They're like, where's this been all my life? Where Mom and Dad, what have you been doing to me, making me eat this junk when this is in existence, right?
So let's be clear. There's a reason a lot of foods produced in America are illegal in other countries.
I know, because they might taste great, but the stuff that's in them are terrible.
Yes.
But this reminds me of the one is where the biscuits and gravy that we have here in the U.S., right?
It's one of the best things ever.
Right. However, if you're from the UK, first off, you don't know what a biscuit is.
No,
because it's a very, very different thing. And then the gravy, they're thinking some type of sauce.
Yes.
Right? And it's not. And it is to see these kids,
technically it is a sauce because it's based on a bechamel.
Sure.
Not just...
Okay, Mr. Chef. I know, former lifetime. But you see, first they give them the biscuits. They're like, well, this isn't a biscuit. What is this? Right? It looks like a roll or a piece of bread or whatever. And then they taste the biscuit like, oh my God, this is so good.
Well, yeah,
okay, now hold on. And then they pour the gravy on it. And the one kid I remember goes, I'm sorry, it looks like vomit. And it does when you think about it.
It does.
And then he goes, you see his face. He's all, I don't know if I want to. This is the greatest thing I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. I gotta see if I can find those videos.
Oh, they're great. There's a bunch of them out there. They're a lot of fun. But that's probably what we're gonna do with this clouded clouded cream. If we ever get some, is you and I are gonna be like, all right, I don't know about this. Then we're gonna taste it.
No,
it's probably phenomenal. Oh, you're from over there, you know.
I'll try it, all of it. Put it in front of me and I'll taste it.
All right, let's see.
Do you know what the worst thing I ever had was?
Yeah.
I think it's called Marmite.
Marmalade?
No, it's that Australian brown stuff.
Australian brown stuff.
I
Can I
think
put that into Google? Australian brown stuff?
can probably look it
I'll
up.
probably get a bunch of spiders.
What's it called? Is it called Marmite? No.
I don't know that I've ever heard of it.
I'll look it up while you search for the next thing.
All right. So Elegant Code 8987 says they have an idea that they want to validate for parking compare. Curious. What are your thoughts on an app where all parking can be compared? For example, if I put an address of my destination.
Vegemite.
Oh, Vegemite.
God, that is the most horrendous thing I've ever eaten in my life.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, man. Men in hats will not be happy with you.
I'm okay with men in hats not being okay with me. Oh, my God. We had an Australian exchange student stay at my house. And his mom would send him Vegemite because he couldn't get it in Iceland.
Vegemite. No good?
Oh,
Never
my
had
God.
it.
It is horrendous.
What is it?
I don't know. I don't want to know.
Okay. Is it like a paste or?
Yeah, it's like it goes on bread. So
Yeah,
it spreads.
Vegemite sandwich. I know.
Yeah.
The only thing I know about it is from Men in Hats. That's it.
Blah.
Or not Men in Hats. Men at work. I would say Men in Hats. Men at work.
But it's horrifying. I don't know how people eat it.
Oh, I don't know. All right.
And
so
I've
anyway,
tried a lot of stuff in my life.
Let's start over here. What are your thoughts on the app where parking can be compared? For example, if I put in the address of my destination, it looks nearby for parking and provides the cheapest option based on location, time of stay, distance. They have that.
Yeah, it's called Google.
Well, Google, Best Parking, Parking Pro, iPark. There's a bunch of them out there.
But they only compare the ones that they have a contract with.
Okay.
Right? So
No, that's not true. No. Well, okay, hold on.
Uh-huh.
So I use an app called Best Parking. This is not a plug for Best Parking. It's what I use. And when you look for an area, there's blue ones and there's gray ones. The gray ones are the ones you can't book through Best Parking, but you can see the prices still.
you can see the published prices.
Yes, you can see the published prices,
Correct.
but you can't book that one. You can only book the blue ones. And I would have to imagine because they have the agreements with the blue ones to actually do the booking.
Yes.
So I can see all the garages. Like if I ever go down when I go down to Philly, which isn't all the time, but when I do, I got to park down there. I'm looking ahead of time to find out where I can park. Okay. And there are absolutely grayed out ones, and I know that that's where the parking garages are, but I can't book those because I can only see the published price anyway. Okay. So I think you can see the prices on these apps. You just can't book them. Okay. So yeah, so this has been in existence for 15, 20 years now.
So I love these types of ideas.
Oh, sure.
And then we get to the business of business where you're going to make money on it.
So this one says, this app will not provide booking or availability. It's a Skyscanner for parking and will redirect to the booking website. Oh, well, then you're an affiliate.
Yeah, now you're an affiliate. So
you're an affiliate. Tell me what you do.
Ties in perfectly. Right? So yes, you can do it as long as the parking website you send people to generates you income.
So
but that's just what Kayak does. This is what Expedia does. They're all commission sale websites. Right? That's what it boils down to. At the end of the day, they all pull from the same database. Like I just found this out recently, is that Kayak, Amex Travel, Expedia, all of those booking sites apparently pull from the exact same database of availability for flights, hotels. Like there's a company behind the scenes that basically manage.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah. It begins with an A. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it's not something that the public would generally know the name of it, though.
No, it's not. But it's where all the travel companies get their information. Yeah. It's all from the same spot, with the exception of flights. Flights come from a different system.
Right.
But all the cruises, hotels, and everything, they all come from the same spot.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. So all right, so let's help this guy here. This is Elegant Code 8987. Let's help Elegant Code figure out a way to make this a little bit better, a little bit different than what's out there, right? So first thing that comes to mind is I put a destination and a time in, which I can do now, but I guess it automatically just books something in that area for me. Like how do we make this different? How do we make this one better? Or not better, but just different than what's out there? Because when I was out there, the problem is I'm looking for the absolute bare bone cheapest at all times. It's just parking. There's no difference in parking for me.
Then make it more of if I have accounts with 3 different parking things, let me enter my information into your platform.
Accounts?
Yeah. So like I have an account with a one of the parking things, right?
That's a thing? I know you can have like monthly subscriptions and things
Yeah,
like that.
no. So like I have one that I use, and I only use it when I go to DC or New York.
Okay.
So I can go in,
Oh, like
I can
Jet
look
Park
at it,
or something like that.
Yeah, and then I
okay,
click,
okay.
and I can book my parking, and it's
Gotcha.
booked through the app, and my spot is guaranteed. Right. So if you're going to do that, allow me to set up all of my parking accounts with these different parking things. The only reason I only have that one is because I'm lazy and I don't want to have multiple apps running on my phone for parking.
Yeah.
But if I could set up accounts with 3 different companies, Best Parking, Joe's Parking, and Mom's Parking, and I could put all of that into your app.
Right.
And-
One stop.
And now I can click and I can zoom in and I go, oh, Mom's Parking has the best deal on Tuesday. Let me click that, book it. And then you and I both know API calls aren't that hard.
No.
Then basically I'm booking it through your app, but it's booking to my account.
Okay, I get it. Okay, I like that because I don't think I can do that through anything right now.
Right.
I think right now if I use even like Jet Parking and who's the one I use down in Philly occasionally?
Right, but like
the one that's like yellow and black. I can't remember their names. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
but all of them
even if I use the Best Parking app, I have to book through Best Parking, but I'm not using my account or anything like that. Yeah.
That's the annoying thing with like some of these travel sites is book this flight and then it sends you to the American Airlines website to actually book it, right? Which is how we know it's all affiliate marketing.
Well, Expedia doesn't do that, but we're using Google Flights or something like that. It will.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they all, it's commission payouts.
Right.
With this one, if you make it an actual booking app rather than just giving me the details of the best time and price, whatever, because make it convenient. People pay for convenience.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And the easier you make it for them to do something, the more likely they are to use you. Amazon is a perfect example. You can literally click on one button that says instant purchase.
Oh, yeah. And everything's done. Yeah.
Done.
You don't have to go through the checking out.
Correct. You don't have to select your shipping address, your card. Like, you can just instant checkout.
All right,
Make things easy.
Elegant code. I mean, it definitely exists in a variety of ways to do it. That doesn't mean you can't add something a little special to it to make it a little different.
This is where market research matters.
Yeah.
Right? Is look at what is everybody else doing and where's the gap in the market.
Right. So hopefully that gives you some food for thought on what to do and how to come up with a slightly different model. But best of luck to you. All right, let's see. Free AI 3D model generator. Oh boy. Nope. Add. All right. Write like a scientist. Launching a startup. Must read. Must we?
No.
No. Okay, let's see. A payment option just for subscription-based products. I think he's asking a question here. Quick feedback would be appreciated. This is from The Pianist. What do you guys say about a payment system that's specifically designed for subscription-based checkout pages? You don't need to add a credit card or sign up for anything. Rather, use this payment method and instantly track it on a dedicated dashboard. And once you want to cancel your subscription, you simply unlink your payment account from the subscribes dashboard to service, and they'll stop charging you. Let me know what you think. So various magazines and publications and newspapers, whatever, you have on your system in your dashboard, and you get to choose which ones you want to subscribe to. And when you want to cancel the subscription, you unsubscribe from them just by unchecking the link. Okay. It's a thing.
Once again, Amazon does it.
Oh, Amazon does that?
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to things, so I don't know.
No. So like if you have Amazon Prime, and then let's say you buy the Disney Channel from them, and then you buy Paramount.
Yeah.
It's the same concept, right?
Yeah,
like I control everything from my Amazon subscription dashboard. I don't have to log into the vendor website to cancel it. I can cancel it directly from my Amazon, right? So First of all, I think the idea is really cool, right? As an end user,
Yeah.
being able to have all my subscriptions in one place.
Yeah, I don't want that anymore. I don't want that anymore.
Correct.
That's the thing that kills you on subscriptions.
The hard part is going to be for you to get permission from any of these companies to be able to set up these subscription and cancellation APIs.
Yeah.
Because they don't want
They
to
don't
make
want
it
you to.
easy.
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly. That's where they make their money.
The reason Amazon gets away with it is because Amazon has...
Because it's Amazon.
They have hundreds of millions of users. So
well, and because
they're bringing something to the table.
because Amazon is going to get people to sign up more than they are to cancel.
Correct.
Right. So it's worth it for them to do that.
It's an interesting idea. And also if you're middlemaning the payment, meaning I'm only paying you and then you're paying, right?
Right.
Now my credit card is going in one place,
Right.
instead of 7 places.
Oh, that would be nice.
Right?
Yeah, that'd be very nice.
That's
so you're
why
aggregating the subscriptions into one spot, aggregating the payment into
one spot.
I like that. That's very nice.
I think that's where he's going with it, and I think it's a really cool
well,
idea.
if he's not, he better be.
Yeah, correct.
Now he better be.
I think that is definitely something that's sellable, and I think it would be a great business. You just, once again, start with your community. So, like, I think this would be phenomenal to start with, like, gamers maybe that subscribe to multiple video games.
True.
Monthly subscriptions.
Yeah, your Xbox
Right?
Live and things like that.
Don't start by going after cable TV and Verizon. Like, start with a small game producers. I think you got to find your community
Right.
that could really use this. And based on some of the comments below,
I hate to say it.
yeah,
Porn. Right?
Yeah.
People subscribe to 20, 30, 40 sites sometimes.
really?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it. I've seen people do that kind of thing.
Man.
I've read stories. I've talked to
Yeah.
people about it. They subscribe to all these different sites.
Dating
They
sites.
pay, dating apps, right?
Yeah.
And-
There are so many things where this could apply, right? I don't think you're going to be making hundreds of millions from just one of these avenues.
Right.
But once you add them up, and then the other thing is, so this is the downside, because when you start allowing subscriptions from something like the porn industry, you automatically start labeling your business. It's the
Yeah, I
power
know,
of association.
I know.
But I mean, you could test run this in that industry, proof of concept.
Yeah.
And then
Rebrand it.
And then rebrand it as something else and do a
Yeah.
totally different subscription model,
Yeah.
right?
That's true. All right. Well, I think it's pretty
That's
cool.
technology applied to multiple
Technology at
scenarios.
its finest. Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. I like that idea. All right. So best of luck to you with that. Let's see. FlightRadar, but for cars. Ooh, let's see. This sounds cool.
Oh, it sounds like right up your alley.
It's totally up my alley. An app or service that allows people to share their car rides anonymously in real time. In addition, it would allow you to talk to people nearby, for example, just like truck drivers do. I am sometimes just curious where people are traveling to, and this could be a fun app for co-drivers and passengers. It popped in my head while driving on the highway. What do you think?
You know what they used to call that?
CB radio?
Hey, it's Jody over here. Got to smoke you up ahead in 5 miles.
Oh, dude, I used to have a CV in my old Ford Ranger.
Yeah.
Best thing ever.
So, all right. So,
so much
what
fun.
he's talking about with FlightRadar is when you can actually, there's apps that you can download down to your iPad, which are really cool. When you're in the cockpit of the plane, you can see all the other traffic around you because there's reasons. Let's just say reasons,
Yeah.
okay? You can see all
Yes.
the other traffic around you, which really does come in handy because while people are supposed to be talking to each other, they don't sometimes, and you didn't realize that there's someone 2 miles off your wing coming at you at 300 miles an hour, and you're like, oh my god. So you're always looking at the traffic on the app in addition to the weather and stuff
Right.
like that too. So this could be kind of cool for cars, except it'll be so overwhelming, I would think, because you're talking in the plane, you have maybe 2 or 3 planes per 10 square miles.
Yeah.
Right? How many cars do you have? thousands and hundreds of thousands
in certain
probably.
areas,
In
yeah.
certain areas. Well, cities,
Yeah,
majorly,
like
right?
in certain areas. But like when you're out on the highway in the middle of nowhere, you're probably talking maybe hundreds,
Yeah, maybe.
depending on how far the range is.
I would
right?
argue that it already exists in a sense, because if you look at Waze or Google
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, they tell you where the traffic backups are, right? That's where you
Yeah,
know.
but he
all-
wants
all
to be
the-
able to communicate.
Oh,
with
well,
people.
communicating is a different story. The communicating is fun. Now, that I totally agree with. That's
But that I like the communication part.
you can
Like
set
it's
up,
back.
you can
back
have
to-
Discord channels or something like that and have communication that way.
Yeah,
You know,
but that's not the same.
you want the open road. You want
It's
Smokey and the
not.
Bandit.
That's what I, dude. Do you remember? Did you ever have a CB radio in your
Oh,
car?
of course. I mean, I was too young for it by the time they kind of went away. But
You can't be. You're my age.
48.
I'm 47.
Okay, so how did you have a CB in your car?
In the 90s.
What? There was no CBs in the 90s.
What?
I don't remember CBs.
When
in
was the
90s.
first cell phone launched publicly?
Late 90s, mid 90s.
What do you
I
think-
got my first cell phone in 97.
And how do you think all the truck drivers magically went to cell phones overnight?
No, but I don't remember seeing CBs in the cars outside the 80s. I really don't remember that.
Really?
Yeah, not in the
No,
90s.
all the truckers and all that stuff had it all through the 90s. I
Okay.
think there's still truckers today running CBs.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Right?
But
Dude, I didn't need Google Maps. I didn't need any of that
I had
stuff.
my trusty old transistor-ridden CB.
Correct. Like I knew
vacuum tubes and all.
I knew everything that was ahead, right? And like you could call out and say, "Hey, I'm at mile marker this. How far am I clear?" Right? And then you could literally gun it,
yeah, I know.
right? Because if someone heard that and they saw something,
Yeah.
even while you were gunning it, you would get a warning,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You would know what the truck drive. And let me tell you this. When you drove around for a couple of years, I had it for a couple of years in my truck. When I switched cars, I didn't move it over, right? You start understanding a lot more about the truck traffic in the US and why they do some of the things that they do.
I'm sure.
Right? You start understanding what a double flash with the blinkers
Yeah.
is. You start understanding why they sometimes pull over and take up 2 lanes at the speed limit. You start understand like there's a lot of things that they do that annoy people, and half the time I'm looking at them and I'm going, okay, so they're either being idiots right now or they're preventing someone from being able to get a ticket. And
Right.
you don't know which one it is.
Right.
But back in the time of CBs, you knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen
Right?
I've seen the trucks swerve like this in a couple of lanes,
Mm-hmm.
and then surely enough, quarter of a mile later, you got cops ready to pull people over, and the truck just saved like 50 cars behind it. Yeah.
And sometimes they'll parallel, right? And
Yeah.
then they'll slow down to right above the speed limit.
Yeah.
And they'll do it for like a very short period of time, and then they'll move.
Yeah.
Guaranteed there was something going on where they wanted you to slow down.
Trying to protect you. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, with this idea, though, I like the idea of the communication. I think
do
it's
too.
great.
And bring the truckers on board, not just the
Bring
cars.
truckers on board.
They are the most
so-
fun people to talk to on the road.
So I guess you would just use your phone, leave your phone on a certain channel.
Yeah,
right?
it's like TikTok Live,
Yeah.
almost, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of how I would do it: is invite a couple of people into the chat and conversation. And
I don't think you need to invite. I think what you do is you have the app and the app's open, and the app knows your location,
Mm-hmm.
and it will scan for other people within 10 miles of your location, and it's just a free chat for everybody who's within that 10 miles of that location.
so, kind of like going back to the CB.
Well, it would have to be. That's the whole point. I mean, while it might be fun, I'm in Pennsylvania. What good's it going to be when talking to somebody who's in California, right?
So basically-
and I also don't want to sit there and changing frequencies every time I enter a new
So
area.
basically, an app that has an open airway,
Yeah.
and then people get call signs.
Yeah.
So it's basically like an app that functions the way CBs used to.
Well, that's what you're suggesting, and I said I love it.
I love it too.
I think it's great.
Go make it right now. I'll download that. I'll download that app tomorrow
I
if it
think that's
exists.
a cool idea. I like that idea. I could make that easily. No, I could.
Yeah,
I could
I-
make that, and it'd probably take me about a week. I could
I know.
could make that.
But it's the getting the people on board.
Oh, people will get on board with that.
Yeah.
They'll. I don't think there's anything like that out there right now.
I don't know. I like it. So I don't like the flight radar thing, but I like the communication.
There's too many
thing.
cars for the radar.
Yeah.
Too many cars for the radar. But I do like the communication idea.
I do too.
That's pretty cool. Huh. All right. Well, hey, thanks for the idea, A-Fish One. That's really cool. No, as far as the radar goes, you could do it. It'd be tough. It'd be really tough. But there's so many cars out there. It'd just be absolutely overwhelming.
Wouldn't it only log the cars that have the app installed?
Well, sure. But if you're talking about making this becoming a regular thing, eventually you're going to have so many cars on there that it would just be overwhelming.
What's the most downloaded app right now in any app store?
Probably still Candy Crush or something like that.
How many well, in the US apps only. Let's say we're doing this US only.
I mean, if you're looking at traffic apps, it's still Waze, I think. Waze is the one.
And how many downloads do you think that would have?
Oh, it's got millions.
Doesn't it?
Millions.
Yeah, so even still, when you divide millions across the entire US.
Now, when you go into the Waze app and you can see the other Wazes around you, do you use Waze?
No.
Okay, so everyone's got their own little icon, whether you choose one or not.
So it exists.
Well, you can see the other Wazers that are around you.
So that's
You
basically
can't communicate. Actually, you can send them messages.
So
you can.
basically, that's what this is.
I guess, yeah. That's true. It is kind of what it is. But like I said,
okay.
you'll know the radar only helps you when you're looking at traffic and stuff like that, and you already know what the traffic is.
So basically, this exists with Waze.
That's true,
right? We're just saying allow people to have an open CB, and openly communicate.
That could be cool.
But you need to make sure that you can. Well, yeah.
There's a name in there somewhere too.
Yeah, but I still think you need frequencies. I think you would need like a channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. Yes, you do.
You're driving.
You're
not going to. How are you going to know what the frequency, the next frequency is?
Mike,
I think you have to automatically go into the new frequency.
No. So, you know how a CB radio used to work?
Yes, of course.
Right, 7, 9, 11. Yes. Like you would choose your frequency. Yeah. So what happens is if you're on a frequency and there's an asshole there.
Oh, you can choose.
You can choose a different frequency, and you're talking to different people.
Right.
Right. So it's not that you are, and then you had the option if nobody was talking. You had a scan button, and it would literally scan through frequencies until it heard someone talk.
No, there's better ways of doing it.
Yeah, but the theory was like if nobody was talking on channel 1, you could have it scan until you heard chatter, and then you could decide if you wanted to listen in or join the conversation, whatever. Because you need a way out other than me turning my radio off.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In this case, you wouldn't need to do that. You could just, if you need to block somebody, you just block them. You won't hear that person again.
But that's the problem because it's an open air channel. So you could be talking at the same time they are and you wouldn't know it.
Well, no. If someone's being a jerk and you want to block them, you just give them 2 or 3 seconds of talking by themselves and you just hit the button and they're blocked.
Yeah, but it's for you.
Yeah.
But it's an open airwave.
Yeah.
So everybody else is still hearing him talk.
Well, sure. If they want to block him, they can block him.
So if you want to say something, now you're talking on top of someone else. And you don't know you're talking on top of someone else.
Maybe. There's ways around it. There's ways to make that work.
Because you can't, you're basically, when you mute him, you're not muting him for everyone.
No, I understand.
So that's my only issue with it. That's why I said, like, you're going to have to let people be assholes, and I should have the option to move on to the next frequency, just like we did back in the day on the CBs.
It has to be location based, and frequency will have to be. You have to have shifting frequencies.
The cool thing about the CB is what it was range sensitive, right. So I knew even though there was an asshole on the road, all I had to do was ask him where you headed. If he was headed in the same direction, I'd be like, okay, click, let me switch to the next one. If he was going the opposite way, I'm like, okay.
He'll be gone in a few minutes anyway.
I got 5 minutes of this, and then, it's done.
Right.
But yeah, it's, I still like, oh God, now I miss CBs. Maybe I should put a CB in my.
Bring it back. I'm bringing it back right now. I'm bringing back CBs.
I got to find out if
you got to get the real long antenna outside of your car. Remember that?
I have no problem.
Remember the 70-foot antenna?
I have no problem with that. Man, all right. I miss those days.
All right.
It was so much fun.
We'll do one more. We'll call it a day. Let's see here. Social rating platform for everyone.
Didn't we talk about something like this the other day?
I don't think so.
Okay.
My startup is a social platform for sharing ratings of all media, places, and products. By having everything in one app, it's a lot easier to keep track and share all your ratings. It has cool features like similarity scores between users and predictor ratings for all items. The aim is to help people make the best informed decision about what they do or buy. What do you think of the concept? Do you think it has potential? Well, all right. So, what was it? It was Black Mirror, and what was the episode? Do you remember the name of the? Did you watch Black Mirror? The episode where you couldn't get on a train unless you had a certain social rating, and you couldn't fly, and where she was going to the wedding, and she was having a breakdown. She kept losing her ratings.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
You had to be like nice to someone. Someone else had to give you a good rating.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And if you bumped into someone, they gave you a bad rating, and she needed like a 4.2 to fly.
We just solved the frequency problem from the previous one.
Okay.
You give everybody a social rating. If your social rating goes below 2, you get blocked for 2 hours.
I hate ratings. You get blocked for 2 hours. I hate ratings. They're not useful anymore.
Well, in a case like that, they would be useful.
But people take advantage of that too.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of assholes out there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You get the one guy
on both ends.
You get the kid who's 6 years old, thinks it's funny, gives everybody negative ratings. It's just that's what's going to happen.
So
anyway, back to this.
Yes. So social rating platform for everything. That's a lot. And I just had this.
What's your point?
Is it me rating stuff, or is it me being able to pull ratings in?
I think it's everything that you have, everything about you that's been rated. So your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Yelp, if you have a business, your whatever. It's all ratings about you.
It has a cool feature like similarity. It looks like this is actually up and running because he has a website linked there.
Yeah.
Click on it. I want to see it.
You want to see it? Okay.
I want to see it because it's no longer idea. It's an actual.
Oh, no. You're doing the rating. You're right. I'm sorry. You're doing the rating and you're.
Yeah. So this is like, what's that wine app called?
Vivino?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't basically that what this is?
Well, for wine.
Yeah. And this is for.
Everything.
Okay.
I mean, I'm seeing movies here.
Yeah.
I'm seeing social media.
So basically, this isn't being pulled from other websites. Books, it's just me going in.
Games.
Yeah. So basically, it's like Vivino, right? Is if I find a user that has similar tastes that I do.
Oh, sure.
I can click on the user and see what else they rated and how they rated it. And chances are, if they liked this wine and rated 5 stars and go best wine I ever had.
Too, yeah.
And he says, oh, but this Tuscan wine is crap.
Whoa. No such thing as a bad Tuscan.
So true. So this American wine, this California wine is crap.
I could see that.
I would probably agree with it, right? It's kind of a nifty idea. It becomes almost like a social network where you get to see what users like and dislike. Mm-hmm. So if you find someone that likes a lot of the same stuff you do, you could go there for ideas like movies.
Well, Letterboxd does movies and TV.
Yeah,
right?
But if this is for more of it,
it's for a lot of different things. Yeah, a variety of things.
This could be video games.
It's in there. Yeah, look at it right there. Video games right there. Books, video games, TV shows, movies.
So, like, what's your favorite video game?
Of all time, something in the Zelda series, I'm sure.
Okay, so my two are EverQuest.
Okay.
And Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, good games. Good games.
Thank you. But like if I found someone else that liked EverQuest, I used to play Civilization a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I used to play Tom Clancy's the Rainbow Six series.
Oh, I know of it. I never played it.
Yeah. So it's same thing, the one where you're the military, where it's very strategic. You have to like solve missions.
Yeah.
And there's certain, you can't lose a guy during, like, what's it called? SEAL Team 6? Whatever it's called. Those types of games. But I always struggle because I go to GameStop or wherever and I'm looking for a new game. And I'm like...
So you can see what these people like that like the same game as you. It's like, oh, everyone loves this. Yeah.
Everybody that, these guys like the same types of games because you start seeing patterns, right? There's a pattern to every game that I like.
Yeah.
If I can find other players that like those same games and then I see, hey, here's 3 other games they rated very highly.
Sure.
Like, I think, honestly, this is a useful app.
All right, then we'll give it a plug.
Yeah,
it's rated rated.fun.
Yeah, I think I think this is actually, from a rating perspective, because you're not rating it just to rate it. You're
Right.
rating it to help other people that like similar things like you do, right? So this is not a review site. This is a rating site, right? If you're rating, you're not rating a restaurant one because the Uber driver messed up your order. You're rating the actual restaurant. So if you think about, like, what are your top 5 local restaurants, right? And now you want to try something new? Let me go find another user
Yeah.
that highly rated these 5 restaurants and see what else pops up.
So take a look here at where my mouse is circling. In the upper left-hand corner, you have the person's profile pic,
Yeah.
and then you see how similar they are to you.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
I think this is actually useful.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool idea. Very nice. Very nice indeed.
Man, I might go download this now.
Rated.fun.
Fun.
All right, good job. I like
It's
that
just,
one.
yeah.
All right, that comes from the Razor Bleeder. All right, so I think that's where we're going to wrap up today. You around next week?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be here. I'll be here till... No, I don't have anything coming up anytime soon. So
Yeah, and people don't know when we're recording this.
yeah, I
anyway.
know.
Next week for us could be last week for them.
Could be. Could very well be. Hopefully not.
I hope not either, but it could be.
All right, man. Cool. Great show. And yeah, we'll talk to you next week, buddy.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.